Arne Slot's passive defensive approach of just sitting off teams at Anfield is a massive problem for two main reasons. The first being that it obviously kills any sort of atmosphere in the ground, but the second one is probably his biggest flaw as a manager. First of all, the system does somewhat work. If you think about the games that we've used it in this season, like the City one yesterday, we limited them to very few chances from open play. They only really had the Haaland one-on-one and the Bernardo goal. We played like that against Fulham too, and they had an XG of 0.74 in the game, but this is where the problem comes from. Slot thinks this tactic works because of the very few big chances that we concede from it. But one thing that Slot doesn't consider with this approach is the amount of time that opposition players have on the ball to make decisions. What Slot is doing is basically betting against world-class players, like Bernardo Silva in this example. He's betting against them not producing at least one world-class moment in a 90-minute game of football, and that's just not sustainable at all, because if you give world-class players like Bernardo Silva so much time on the ball, he will punish you. Like, look at where City's penalty comes from yesterday. Ryan Cherki, who's on the ball up here, is one of the most technically gifted players in the entire world, and he's got no pressure on him all the time in the world to put a ball into that area, and we're almost just sitting back, banking on him not being able to do that. And it was the same against Fulham for Harrison Reed's last-minute equaliser against us. Obviously, Harrison Reed isn't world-class or to the level of the City players, but this is still a Premier League footballer who can obviously produce an unbelievable shot if given about 10 yards of space to just pick a spot. And then Slot comes out after basically every game talking about how we conceded very few big chances, and yes, that's because the system allows very few opportunities for the opposition. But one thing that it does allow is some of the best footballers in the entire world time on the ball to pick a pass or have a shot, and you cannot win matches consistently by doing that. It's not sustainable, and something has to change.